welcome to GBTA's Meet the Committees. This is a meeting about the GBTA committees, an overview of who they are, how to get involved, and if you're interested in volunteering more with GBTA, we're happy that you joined us. I'm just going to do for the agenda a brief overview of what the committees are, why they exist, and then we're going to go into each one of the 9 verticals. Each committee is going to present an introduction, an overview, and then answer questions for you. So the committees themselves exist because they are in the GBTA bylaws. In the GBTA bylaws in Section 7, it does say that committees exist and that the president of GBTA will appoint the committee chairperson and that the chairperson then appoints members of the association to serve the committee. So that's the definition. That's where they came from. And as we expand deeper into this, there's a lot of words on this screen, but the committee definition and purpose. GBTA members serve on committees on a volunteer basis to work to advise GBTA leadership and membership on the latest trends, developments, and best practices that fall under that committee's jurisdiction, which is why we have them in the 9 verticals. Lots more details here. You're welcome to read through this, but this is the definition and purpose of the committees. Again, that committee purpose is to function in an advisory nature, lending industry expertise and support the association programs and augmenting the association operations. So every year at convention, the committees are given 5 deliverables to produce that year at convention or conference, depending on what region we're talking about. But some of those deliverables include those industry templates. So like the RFP templates, resources, toolkits like the virtual payments toolkit, webinars, podcasts, research insight papers, marketing assistance like this, doing Meet the Committees. And then the big one is the educational content. So education sessions, content for convention, regional conferences, summits, or chapters, participating in that call for proposals and participating in peer review council of the proposals that are submitted. That's the overview of the committees. Does anybody have any questions about the purpose and the definition of GBTA committees? Here's a snapshot of what all of our committees are. So 9 verticals: accommodations, aviation, inclusion and culture, meetings and events, payment solutions, risks, sustainability, technology, and transportation, and then the different regions. So accommodations, there's a US, a Europe, and a Canada committee for accommodations, and so on. If it's in parentheses, like the global risk, the 4 risk committees do get together on the leadership level and present themselves globally. So they work together very well. We're going to go in order, and each committee is going to have a chance to speak, and we're going to start with accommodations. So when you're ready, is it Juliet?
Yes, hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Juliet. I'm chair of the Accommodations Committee here in EMEA. So nice to see you all today. If you go to the next slide, please. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about our committee. So we have 14 members. You can see that lovely picture that was taken when we all had our face-to-face meeting earlier this year. So I'm chair, and the co-chair is Jackie Halloran. And I just wanted to explain the breakdown of our committee. So we have 9 suppliers, and they vary from hotel groups to service department, tech providers, and accommodation aggregators. So I haven't listed them all because there's quite a few. But then buyers, we have 5 buyers. So we have buyers from PwC, Shell, Willis Towers Watson, Meta, and Barclays. So just to give you a good balance. And varying from Germany to Brussels to the UK as members in our group. The kind of engagements that we do, we have a monthly call where we talk about specific projects. And then on that call, we allocate the projects, and then there's kind of sub calls with the project teams working on those projects afterwards. We have 2 in-person meetings a year, and then we also meet at conference, which is the EMEA conference, and also if anyone's at convention in the US. And just so you know, some of the completed projects we've done for this year is we did a podcast for technology for accommodation. We did a panel session at our conference in November in Copenhagen, which was question times with the accommodation committee, which we had a really good audience. We had I think it was about 80 people. So we had a really good attendance for that session. We've updated how to work on a GBT RFP update on the hub, which has just been finalised. And then we're also working on an infographic, which is cost versus ADR, which will be ready in the next month. So that's that. I'll just pause here. Does anyone have any questions on any of this so far? No? Okay, thank you. Go to the next slide, Angela, please. So I just wanted to also explain how you can get involved for next year. So we do roundtable discussions at conferences, so we encourage you to join those roundtable discussions. That's an opportunity to speak to the committee members, but also to talk everything accommodation as well. We had this at conference this year, and it worked really well. Social media, LinkedIn updates, and our posts. So we have a very active accommodations committee LinkedIn social media campaign. So if you see those posts, we encourage you to share them, comment them, and react to them. Also, podcasts, they're also posted on our social media, so we encourage you to share the content on that. Of course, apply to join one of our committees in EMEA or the US or Canada. And then share industry practices with members on committee. So sometimes we're working on projects, and we can also bring people that are not on a committee to come and work with us on that project. So there's an opportunity for you to get involved on that basis as well. Use the hub to join our discussions and projects. And then, join as a guest at any time on any of our calls on a specific subject, or maybe on a panel session, or the projects I mentioned earlier. And then a subject matter expert, which many of you are, please use those skills, and contact myself, contact Jacqueline or any of our members, which is on the GBTA website, and talk to us about any subjects you want to join our meetings or our projects on. So that's it. And I'll just pause here again if there's any questions. I do have two of my committee members on the call today, which is Levy from HRS, and then also Susanna.
Hello.
From
Hi,
Penta.
everyone.
So again, any questions, we're all three of us are here to answer for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Juliet. Is anybody else from accommodations that I may have missed that is from a different region, US or Canada? Okay. And no questions in the chat? Perfect. Okay. Aviation Committee. Do I have anybody from the Aviation Committee on the call today who'd like to
Yes.
speak?
Hi, you
Awesome.
have
Hi, Michelle.
myself. Hi, everybody. Michelle Kramer. And Jill Huffman is also here. Oh, and we also have Stacy Montgomery as well. So got three. Welcome to the Aviation Committee. We have a wonderful group, both in the United States and in EMEA. In the United States, we have 8 allied and 8 buyers, and we are, of course, as I think every one of our committees, we are also hiring and looking for more members to join. Some of the online resources that we're responsible for maintaining and making sure that we are keeping, with the times is the airline RFP template, program management toolkit, and ways to benchmark your airline policy. So if you haven't seen those yet, go check those out. And some of the objectives that we do is, it's fascinating conversation. So we have airline partners, buyers, TMCs. We are looking at bringing in, buyer from ARC. So we're really trying to get well represented. We've got people from airports that really help us engage and understand all the different touch points that a traveler may have, related to the aviation side. So our obviously focus is very similar to all of the other committees in that we really just want to provide the right tools and education and resources that are right for, the time that it's needed. And highlighting some of our accomplishments has been, of course, we have our monthly call. Again, fascinating discussions there, as you can imagine, with all the fund distribution things and changes that have been happening on in the aviation world over the last year. Peer reviews online and in conference. And we've done, last year was our second year of doing the airline NDC kind of district confusion to finding solutions. And we will be doing another session, kind of following through and connecting all of those, hopefully, if everybody approves it, this year at convention. And the RFP toolkit has been refreshed, as well as our content. And we developed, the Aviation Committee mission statements, as well as getting more involved in social media, which we will continue to do even more in 2024 and 2025. And some of the other things that we plan to focus on that we're really excited about. So save the date on January 22nd. Stacy Montgomery, who joined us, is hosting an incredible sex trafficking webinar for us with lots of great takeaways that will allow you to bring it back to your company and organization and help you implement and, kind of standardize all travelers going through this. So very impactful to the industry. Of course, we're at the quarterly meet the committee today, so that's one of them. We do the peer-to-peer engagement sessions, review council, where we review all of the different education session topics and vote on those, as well as coffee with the committees that will be coming up at the GBTA conference. And then just ongoing communications and content. And it's just an amazing group of individuals that really want to help everybody kind of win in the aviation space and everybody get what they need and ultimately just create a much better experience for the travelers. So that is GBTA Aviation Committee in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions for us?
No, just bravo, Michelle, letting and trying to get everyone to win, right? A rising tide raises all ships. I love that. Thank you.
All right, I took back the share. And any additional questions about Aviation Committee, or is there anybody else from the other regions that may want to speak at this time? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was awesome. The Inclusion and Culture Committee. I am pretty sure I didn't see anybody from the Inclusion and Culture Committee on the call today, but that is okay. Oh, did I miss somebody? Okay. If you're interested in the Inclusion and Culture Committee, I did link their website here on this presentation, so you'll be able to visit their website. They do span the globe, and it's currently chaired by Linda Bico and Teresa Rocklin. Does anybody have any questions about the Inclusion and Culture Committee that I might be able to answer? Okay, meetings and events.
Well, hi, my name is Brenda Davis, and I am the newly appointed chair for the group. I am not going to present today. I'm going to leave that to the very talented Charles and Rob to present, but I did want to just introduce myself and say that I look forward to working with everyone. So I'll now turn it over to Charles and Rob.
So thanks, Brenda. I appreciate everyone's involvement and for joining the call. I think this is a really good idea. I think it's, kind of back to Michelle's comments, right? We want everyone to win. So getting the committees together to just try to, foster more engagement, I think is going to be key, especially for the directives of GBTA as a whole, right? Just in helping the industry. There's a lot of change in our industry. So I think it's great to have every committee together. Really for today, I just wanted to kind of go over our mission and our purpose. So starting with our mission here, it's establishing best practices in meetings and events. Meetings and events is sort of the wild, wild west, if you will, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we need to do to help the industry and to get everyone to understand exactly what meetings and events is and what the committee's doing. I think the term used now is the great, post-great pause, which is COVID, right? The bad word that everyone uses, but there's a lot of different people that are involved in meetings and events. So that's really, it's to provide education and resources for all those new people that have essentially stepped into meetings and events. And then last, promote market innovation. I think there's a lot of innovation, like in the aviation world, NDC, right? We've got, AI. There's a lot of different things that we need to pull together, and our purpose is to really bring that to fruition. If you go to the next slide, please, I'd like to kind of just introduce the regions. I've got some other leadership with us on the call. Brenda had mentioned Charles' name from our United States region that I reside in as well, and then Dan's on the call from our Europe branch as well, and then we're representing our colleagues just to the north of the border over in Canada as well too. So what's our purpose, right? We're an amalgamation of personas, and we've come together to serve as sort of the preeminent source of knowledge and strategy on the state of meetings and events management for geared towards the GBTA, geared towards the travel manager persona and travel in general. And we're committed to producing and sharing high quality content on emerging trends in meetings management. And then last, we're going to try to develop and maintain educational materials around the fundamentals and best practices of meetings management. So obviously easier said than done. On the next slide, I'm going to show you how we're going to accomplish those goals here. So everyone, there was 2 sessions last year that were fantastic that introduced this new wheel. So this wheel is our foundation. The term of the wheel is the SMM wheel. SMM stands for Strategic Meetings Management. Best way to explain that is obviously the transient business travel world has had decades to build best practices, right? So there's a lot of what the committees work on. Picture that now brought into the meetings and the events world. One of our main goals is to make sure that there are fundamentals and best practices that mirror the transient world so we can link transient meetings and events together. So how are we going to accomplish that is you've probably already been reached out by some of our liaisons. We're creating committee liaison positions that are going to work with each of the committees to farm key industry insights. And our goal is to enhance the diversity of our membership by attracting these different personas that I had mentioned before and that are also reflected here on the wheel. And then we want to target each of those personas by providing really, really relevant content with refreshed GBTA sessions. And then last, we're going to encourage, we've had some members mention already, in social media engagement and promote all committees through all available channels. So for my colleagues on the call as well, did anyone want to chime in on the wheel and what we've done over in the last year?
No, I think you've done a nice job summing it up there, Rob. I would just reiterate the point that this is really our foundation, and everything that the committee is delivering leads back to this. So this underpins all of the content and the output that we're producing, and we continue to refine this. Part of our work at the European conference this year was identifying where next with the wheel. What is it that the membership community want to see us encompassing within here as the as this part of the business continues to evolve? But nothing else to add. Nice job, Rob.
Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks, Brenda. And then last slide is how to get involved. So, I mean, quite simply, just reach out to us, right? Schedule a one-on-one. We've all got one-on-ones with our managers. So let's do it with the committees, right? I think it's important just to get to know us, reach out on LinkedIn. We've got a application. Everyone knows how to apply to become a committee member, because as I mentioned before, we want to strengthen that buyer supplier ratio, right? We want to attract those new personas. And then last, and I probably don't have to say this, but it's really engage and share LinkedIn. LinkedIn is essentially it's the future of how everyone is going to be engaging. No one checks their emails anymore, right? It's either your text messages, it's your direct messages on LinkedIn. But the way that the algorithms work these days, and our commitment to all the other committees as well, is every time you see a post from our committee, please like, please share it, and then more importantly, please comment on it. So as you comment, that improves the algorithm, and then all your second and third connections will also see that content, and there'll be more engagement across. And that's a commitment I'll make as well for all the other committees. Every time I see you have a post, I will go on there and I will make sure that I'm promoting that content as well. And then lastly, for the people that are looking to get involved to become committee members, again, please just reach out to us. We're happy to direct you and provide those guardrails to have you become a member of the team. So appreciate, again, everyone's time today, and thank you for setting up this call. If we have any questions, happy to help.
I'd just like to reconfirm that our doors are open, and any questions, anything that you need from us, just please feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much, Brenda, Rob. That was great. And Dan, any questions about the Meetings and Events Committee? Okay. Next, we're on the Payment Solutions Committee. I think I saw Stacy.
Yes. Hi, Angela. Hi,
All
everyone.
right.
I am the chair of the U.S. Payments Solutions Committee. There's also a European committee as well. I have a slide on the next slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are as a committee. We have lots of our pictures. It's a labor of love to get everyone's headshot and title and everything like that. So it took us a little longer to get this slide together but we're almost there. We're really close. We just need one more corporate picture and then we're good. But what we're really excited about in this committee is that we really have done a good job about getting new members involved in our committee. We are now we have more buyers on our committee than suppliers. And when I first joined the committee, we were really searching for that buyer representation. And so we're really excited we have 20 members on our committee. And we are looking for more members, because there are going to be some of our members, unfortunately, that have to roll off after convention coming up in July. So what we want to do is kind of start to get the members that are going to roll into that committee once some of them are going to roll off, myself included. So what our goals are, is to really work together from a payment solution side on industry standards, new emerging technologies. We have, from a supplier standpoint, hoteliers on our committee. We have technology integrators on our committee. We have travel management companies on our committee. And then we also have buyers representing lots of different types of companies. Some are global, some are more US focused. And really having that different membership has been so helpful in getting a lot of our documentation curated. We, in the last 4 years, have created the payments toolkit. So it started out as a virtual payments toolkit, and then we've expanded it to having several modules from a payment solution side. And we'll be updating that and adding a few more modules in the next few months. We'll be curating our sessions right now that are for many of you that are part of committees. I'm sure you're all very busy getting your submissions together and submitted by December 18th. But that's something we take very seriously at our committee. We have been able to get some sessions through in the last couple of years. This past convention, we had 2 sessions that we were able to provide for just from our committee. And then we actually did a collaboration with the accommodations committee as a session. And I highly encourage the committees that as we start to cross collaborate on conversation, but also come up with maybe some ideas in the future for webinars and also convention sessions, just because I think it was a really nice way to have different people represented in the session and bring from the accommodation side to the payment side all together. We could talk the next slide on our mission. So our mission typically wants to bring strategic direction. We want to have also not only education, but discussing universal standards. And that's really important from the European side as well. We're starting to meet with them once a quarter, so we can kind of get more educated from a global perspective as an entire committee for GBTA. Sometimes, when you have your committees, it's, really you're focused on your own sector, and it's important to understand all sectors, especially when you're curating education, you're curating your sessions. I do have the QR code to apply for our committee. So if anyone, as I'm speaking, is interested in having a conversation about our committee, my door is always open. And I enjoy, bringing on new members to the committee because we get such great insight and energy from the new members that come on board. And then I can talk a little bit about the next slide, which is our toolkit. Really proud of what we've accomplished in making it a relationable toolkit. So you can click in lots of different ways. If you want to take a look at our toolkit, please scan the QR code. But we're also going to be curating some new modules as well. One of them that we're doing a session around that hopefully we'll get through when it comes to reconciliation. We really want to deep dive into helping companies formulate their reconciliation plan when it comes to payments. And so, really excited to be here today. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And any of you that would like to talk more about the Payment Solutions Committee, please reach out and connect. Our LinkedIn page will have, we try to do some posts each month. And also when we just did a webinar on payment RFP. And so that recording is on our LinkedIn page, but would love to hear comments. And if there are some things you would like to hear about in some of the sessions that we're putting together, also reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear your voice. And I don't know if anybody from the European committee is on here, but also happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the Payment Solutions Committee? Okay. And moving on to risk, I think we have John Moody.
Yes, here I am. How's everybody doing today? My name's John Moody. I'm the vice chair of the U.S. Risk Committee. And if we can go to the next slide, I'll do a quick introduction on our mission and vision and some of the things that we do to help out with the GBTA membership. As you can see here, you can read our mission and vision. I'm not going to read it to you, but some of the objectives for the risk committee are to collect, maintain, and disseminate travel risk management, which encompasses duty of care, information and data relating around those topics. We're here to collaborate and support the GBTA membership as well as all the other GBTA committees. We're here to help with resources, guidance, and expertise about travel risk management, duty of care for the GBTA membership, and we educate and promote best practices, information about TRM and duty of care. You saw on the slide that Angela showed, we were the only ones that were in parentheses, global in parentheses, because we are 4 different committees that make up and work together in a global risk committee. And you can see that the U.S. Risk Committee is led by Christine Connolly, and I do anything I can to help support her in the vice chair role. The Canada Risk Committee is chaired by Kate King, who I think I saw on here as well. The EMEA is chaired by Nick Hymans with the co-chair of Suzanne Sangiovese. And then our APAC Risk Committee is Barry Lynn and Rebecca Malzakar. I haven't met her, so I might mispronounce her name, but I think it's Malzakar. So if we can go to the next slide, please. What we're kind of up to is we just launched our travel risk management toolkit back at the in convention just earlier this year, or in the last few months when we had it in July, I guess. So it's now 5 months ago. It aligns with ISO 31030, which is a travel risk management best practices. It's not necessarily standard at this point in time, but it is a best practice guidance document for travel risk management. You can go into the travel risk management toolkit and click on the different sections within the website, and it can give you a checklist on how to ensure that your organization aligns with the ISO 31030 document. Previously, we had launched a travel risk management request for proposal template. If a company or an organization is looking to solicit a provider, that document will help you develop and figure out questions that you need to put into your RFP. There's already questions developed. It can help you build one in a general sense, and then you can customize it to your specific needs. That's also available in the GBTA Hub. In the next month, and just a little over 1 month from today, the U Global Risk Committee is going to be putting on a webinar for the 2025 Risk Outlook. It's going to be offered on 2 different days. On the 14th of January at 10 a.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. GMT, there will be the US, EMEA, and Canada session, and then on the 15th at 9:30 Mumbai, 12 o'clock Singapore, 1300 Tokyo, or 1500 Sydney, the APAC webinar will be presented. So it's going to be 2 separate live webinars with the same information provided during both webinars. More information to come out on that. One item that is not on here that I would be remiss in not bringing up is that our EMEA committee is working on a TRM maturity assessment. And that idea was born from a discussion that one of our EMEA committee members had with a wider group. It was acknowledged that the level of maturity of TRM was very different across a number of geographies and companies in which we operate. Some of it's cultural, some of it's just a result of a lack of development in the area. So the assessment is a plan we have to try and map these high, low spots, both from a geographical and also from an organization's perspective. And then we do monthly blog entries that you can access through our LinkedIn account. And then on the right-hand side there, I believe, Angela, you're sending out the document. So there are hyperlinks in those 3 images. One will take you to our Global Risk Committee page on the GBTA website. The other one will take you to the Risk Committee's LinkedIn page. And then the bottom one where it says join, because as all of us are here, we are always looking for that next great member that can come in and help support us, help support GBTA. So that link join will take you to the page where the applications are located. There are 3 different applications, Canada and US, and EMEA have one, and then APAC has one. So there's separate applications. So just make sure that you fill out the one that will go to the proper committee that makes up the Global Risk Committee. So that's all I have. Any questions? Yay.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Anybody have any questions about Risk Committee? And did anybody else want to say hi? I know Kate was on, but I'm not sure who else was on. Awesome. Okay. We are next on to the Sustainability Committee. I believe we have Robin.
I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. So my name is Robin Graston-Novitz, and if you want to advance it, I chair the Sustainability Committee. We are one of GBTA's global committees. We have 33 members across the globe, 12 in the Americas region, 12 within Europe, and 9 within Asia Pac. I should point out that our Asia Pac group is kind of earmarked as a task force. They were created shortly after GBTA really started to move into Asia Pac. So they have an asterisk because they kind of do a little bit more than just sustainability. So they're not 100% dedicated to us quite yet. But nevertheless,
Robin, that's been updated. They have
Okay,
been approved
sweet.
as a full sustainability committee, and they're and now is one in the risk vertical as well. So 2 committees in Asia Pacific now.
Yes.
Everything is going really great over there. And they're actually working on a 3rd for meetings and events. So
Yep. So that likely will that shortly, hopefully removing that asterisk. If you want to advance it to the next page, or the next slide. Yeah, so here's our members. So when you send an email to sustainabilitycommittee@gbta.org, these are the folks that are going to be getting it. These are our Americas and Europe folks at the moment. The buyers are in orange and the suppliers are in blue, as you can see. And so we do lean a little bit heavier on the buy side, which is similar to payments. That's slightly unusual, but that's great. We do have numerous suppliers, and we're very, very proud of our diversity, not just between buyers and suppliers, but in different types of expertise and levels of expertise. We're not looking for all experts. We're also looking for people who are brand new into this ESG world or into this world of sustainability, which, knock on wood, quite honestly, following the pandemic, most of us were. Right. So that's one thing that is really, really unique about our committee. We do have some really, really phenomenal brains in knowledgeable brains on these topics, but we also have folks that are coming into this brand new and trying to understand. And this is great. This diversity is great because if we produce something and it's completely missing the mark for some of the novice folks, which most of our GBTA membership base and most people around the globe are new and novices in this world of sustainability. So if what we produce misses the mark, then it's wasted effort. So we really do want people who are novices and to speak and say, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. So we can bring it down. And so we can create content and educational materials that truly resonate with members and help them come up to speed. Right now, as I had mentioned, we lean more heavily towards the buy side, but we're pretty evenly split, actually exactly evenly split between Americas and Europe. We meet once a month as a global committee, and that spans, those calls span 6 different time zones, but we have a very high attendance rate and everybody is really passionate about this topic. I had mentioned diversity, but the one area where we are not diverse at all is in the area of passion. We have 33 highly passionate people on this committee. So in terms of joining our committee onboards new members starting at convention and ending at the Europe conference. So though that period is our onboarding period where we're bringing on new members as old members roll off. And that's going to be pretty heavy. Again, we accept applications throughout the year. We begin our interview process early in the year, and then we try to, like I say, wrap that up in time for the Europe conference. Let me see here. What else? If you want to go to the next page or the next slide. Okay, so our mission, obviously, this mission statement was created shortly after the pandemic in 2021. After we all witnessed our planet beginning to heal, and as we came back and emerged from the pandemic. So really our mission is to really lead and guide and mobilize GBTA membership to collaborate on advancing standards and solutions that improve our sustainability performance as a business travel industry. And our focus at the time when we created this was across all 3 pillars. But as we all know, the UN has identified, obviously, our climate change as critically important. So for the most part, our entire committee has been entirely focused on the E and the ESG. So I've got our projects that we are focused on for this membership year listed here. We are the first one there is helping members navigate emission calculation methodologies, and that will span air, car, hotel, or ground car, hotel. Implementing carbon budgets, implementing a rail program and creating a guide around implementing a rail program, creating traveler communication so you can bring your travelers on this sustainability journey with you, and then building a business case to help fund some of these sustainability initiatives because it is slightly different. I know I probably ran over. Any questions that you have for me? All right. But we are accepting, like I said, applications. There is a number of members that are going to be rolling off the committee. And so, yes, we are very interested. And when I talk about diversity, we're really interested in diverse perspectives and backgrounds. So within our committee right now, we've got TMCs, airlines, accommodation providers, booking tool providers, other technology providers, staff, we've got a lot of different perspectives. And so, yes, bring those perspectives, and we hope to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. Does anybody have any questions about the Sustainability Committee? And is there anybody else from Sustainability who may want to speak or say hi? Okay. The next committee is the Technology Committee. I believe that Lori wanted to say hi, and then she was going to hand it off to Justin. So, Lori?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. And I have actually learned so much on this call. So thank you to everyone for your thoughtful presentations. I'm Lori Scott. I'm the Global Travel Manager for Markel Insurance, and I have been a part of the Technology Committee. I'm on my second year. I am going to turn it over to Justin. He does a great job with this, but I just wanted to share briefly, technology, we're all living with it, right? The technology choices and sheer volume can be overwhelming. So our mission as the Technology Committee is really to, uncover technology needs and expectations and to foster collaboration and really to support our GBTA members, right? If we can be a first touch point to help somebody on their technology journey, that's what we want to do. And so thanks so much for joining today. And Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lori. I don't know how I feel about following Robin because she's been such an amazing speaker and presenter, but I'm going to try. I see this when Lori and I were meeting ahead of time, I see this as kind of like a larger version of someone reaching out to me and saying, hey, I think I'm thinking about getting involved in a committee. Like, what has been your experience? So you can advance the slide if you want, Angela. I'm going to leave this here for you to read over, but basically I figured I would just share my own personal experience and why I think it's a good idea to get involved in a committee overall. And then I can just share my experience from the technology standpoint. So first off, I think one of the biggest benefits for me personally getting involved in a committee is building my own personal brand. The opportunity to be able to get connected with both buyers and suppliers that are thought leaders that, by virtue of the fact that they're on a committee, they're doing a little more than your average participant with regards to GBTA. And so you are automatically in with I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, to be honest, because I'm automatically in the group with kind of the upper echelon of the peers in our industry. So I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits, both from a buyer and supplier perspective, is just being able to get connected with powerful minds. The other piece, and I don't, who was it that presented for meetings and events? Was it Rob? I think that I think he was the one that was talking about, and Robin as well, about how there's a whole spectrum of participation when it comes to these committees. You can get involved from a limited degree where you just show up on a couple of calls. I mean, we don't necessarily recommend that, but the bandwidth varies depending on the individual. And there's just so much involved in these committees and what we do. I found it to be a great avenue for me to be able to be creative and working on a problem. So when I got involved, the main problem that I've experienced working for a technology company is that our company is not part of the traditional tech stack of a business travel program. The traditional tech stack being TMC, OBT, expense. And so that brings in a little bit of a challenge when it comes to buyers who want what we have but can't seem to get it into their program. And so I brought that to the technology committee, and I said, this is a problem that I see quite often where we're frustrated on both ends. They want what we have. I want to be able to get it to them, but they can't seem to get it in their program. And lo and behold, that became our education session in Atlanta at convention. So I would encourage you, if you've seen challenges in your segment of the industry or for a committee that you're looking to get involved in, this is the place for you to explore and try to find ideas on how to navigate those challenges. So we're working on all of the initiatives that are laid out by GBTA with regards to the webinars, with regards to the podcasts, with regards to, the social media promotion. Right now, our in-person meetings, the primary focus for the technology committee is on the ed sessions. And what are we going to talk about? What are we going to tackle? Right now, we have 3 submissions that we're putting forth to the peer review council, which, by the way, technology is dwarfed in submissions as far as the tracks. And so the technology committee has to be really astute at coming up with good topics. So our 3 right now that we're working on are one is on data storytelling. So you have a set of data. How are you going to tell a story with that? And there's a whole workshop involved in that. The other one is on pilot or pass. Exploring the ability to pilot a technology solution. Like, is that worthwhile? Is it not? Should it be free? Should it be paid? Exploring those options. And then the third piece, which I thought is a really cool one, is breakdown or breakthrough, which is essentially, let's find all the pieces in our travel program and break them and try to rebuild them and see what the end result is. So basically re-engineering the technology in your travel program. So again, like I said, I kind of wanted to come at this today with this has been my personal experience. If there's any feedback I would provide to GBTA is I don't think 2 years is long enough. Like, I'm getting ready to roll off at this next convention, and I'm kind of like a little because I feel like I'm just getting started. But it's been really exciting. One other piece that I will share that I've had a lot of fun with is, with regards to technology, especially after the pandemic, there were so many technology companies that emerged in our space, and it's really hard for buyers to keep up. Like, they don't even know what exists. Does it apply to my program? Is it a benefit for me? Is it not? And so I started this interview series where I was reaching out to emerging technology companies, and I called it the technology company spotlight series. And I started doing interviews on behalf of the tech committee with these companies and putting them on our LinkedIn page. Just to try to gain a little bit of an intro into some companies that buyers may not have even had the time to hear about. And it's gone, I think, pretty well. We're just at the beginning of that. I've only had 2 published, so have a few in the mix and a few in the wings to be able to continue that. But I mean, honestly, I could talk about this like way longer than the time allotted for us. I would say definitely get involved. For those that are on the call today exploring, for those that are going to listen to the recording, I'm found pretty easily on LinkedIn. A lot of you already know me. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Even if it's not technology, I'd love to share my experience, because I've had some experience with some of the other committees here as well. And like I said, I'm rolling off. So for the other committees, if you think I'd be a good fit, please let me know, because I'm going to be involved in some sort of a committee, regardless of how this plays out. Any questions? Oh yeah, this is a tech. I like this tech, a quote. Lori picked this out. I think you're on mute, Angela, if you're trying to say something.
I said magic because that was magical. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Lori. Any questions about the technology committee? Okay. All right, our last committee is transportation. So I don't believe we have anybody from the transportation committee, but just in case, is there anybody? Okay. The Transportation Committee right now is based in Canada. They did not have enough airlines to have an aviation committee in Canada, so they decided on a transportation committee. However, with sustainability, discussing that rail option, I think that there's opportunity here with the Transportation Committee to expand outside of Canada. We'll see what happens in the future, but if anybody is interested or really interested in that subject of transportation, please reach out to me and let me know. We currently do not have a chair or a vice chair for that committee, but they are working on that. Any questions about the Transportation Committee? Cool. Okay, so this is going to be the end. So thank you for attending. If you want to learn more about the GBTA committees, please visit gbta.org/gbta-committees. You can also email committees@gbta.org. That mailbox is monitored 24 hours a day, as it has both me and Nikki and Elle over in Singapore, and Alexia. So there's quite a few people that go into that mailbox and watch that inbox every day. Or you can email me directly for US, Canada, and global, or Nikki directly for Europe and Asia. So thank you.